and today I'm going to be answering your questions. First of all, I just want to give a huge thank you and shout out to the Goosebumps movie for sponsoring this video. They wanted me to let you guys know that Goosebumps, the movie starring Jack Black, is now available on digital, and on January 26th you'll be able to get the Blu-ray, which is going to have tons of awesome extra bonus features like alternate openings and endings, deleted scenes, and a blooper reel. I loved watching Goosebumps as a kid. It scared me. At the same time, I loved it and couldn't stop watching it. I just couldn't watch it close to bedtime because then I'd end up having like crazy nightmares. I also find it really funny that Ryan Gosling did an episode of Goosebumps. I put a link in the description below, so click it if you'd like to go purchase Goosebumps the movie. So you guys, I just have to tell you that these are probably the best Q&A questions that I have ever gotten, because I was just reading them and one after another they were all such amazing questions. So hopefully I can answer as many as possible, but if I don't get through all the ones that I love, then I'll definitely do another Q&A to answer your questions. Alright, so first question from Chris Vint. Natalie Dormer was your first celebrity meeting of 2016, but who else do you want to meet this year? Wow, that is such a huge question. I was actually thinking about all the Game of Thrones cast members that I have met and who I haven't. I think I've met 11 Game of Thrones cast members, but I still really want to meet Sophie Turner and Lena Headey. I have not met them yet, and I would absolutely love to meet them. So hopefully this year will lead me to meeting the rest of the cast that I haven't met yet. I feel very fortunate and lucky to have met 11 cast members. Like, that's crazy. That there's such a huge cast in Game of Thrones. So I'm very grateful that I've had the opportunity to meet 11 of them, and I don't know who else I would want to meet. Maybe some of the cast of The 100. I love The 100, and that would be really awesome. Savannah Malerba asked, what was your favorite video game of 2015? Oh my gosh, that is the hardest question. There were just way too many awesome games that came out last year. It's so hard to pick one. The games that I am still playing from last year are definitely Destiny and Call of Duty and Battlefront, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Yoshi's Woolly World, and you can see me play all these games on Andre and I's collaboratory gaming channel, Sword and Shell. So just in case you didn't know, I have a secondary channel called Sword and Shell where it's just straight up gameplay with Andre, Black Nerd Comedy, and we play all sorts of games, and we post 4 videos a week. So just in case you missed that, go check out Sword and Shell. Michael Knight said, how do you feel about everyone saying The Force Awakens is just a modern day A New Hope? So this could literally be an entire video about my opinion on that. I think, one, it's ridiculous that everyone jumped on this bandwagon at the beginning and said, oh my gosh, The Force Awakens is the most amazing movie ever, and then a week later, because of what reviewers were starting to say and what other people were starting to say, all of a sudden the movie is just too nostalgic and has way too many similarities to A New Hope, and all of a sudden everything just kind of changed. Everyone was all about it at first and then hated it a week later. It drives me crazy. It just goes to show that no one has their own thought process, and they're looking and listening to what they're seeing other people say online and jumping on bandwagons, and that drives me nuts. If you like something, like it. I loved The Force Awakens, and I don't care how close it was to A New Hope. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a thrill, it was nostalgic, it was fun, and I loved every single second of that movie. But in case you want to hear a more detailed version of some of my opinions, you should go check out Andre's video that he made about a lot of this topic. He did an awesome video, and I have to say, I think he wins the internet for this video, so definitely go check that out after this video. But definitely a good question, Michael Knight. Leonard Cornerstone asked, what games are upcoming on Sword and Shell? I can't tell you, so you're just gonna have to keep watching and wait and see. And if there's a specific game you'd like us to play, you can go over to Sword and Shell and leave it in the comments and let us know what game you want us to play. But I'm not gonna tell you anything else. Josh McNeil asked, what did you like/dislike about being an only child? I can tell you, selfishly, the thing that I liked was not having to share, because I can only imagine if I had siblings that you'd have to share your toys and your clothes and everything in your life, which obviously helps create a bond between your siblings, but I liked not having to share anything. But the one thing that really did stink about being an only child was I always loved video games and was always playing video games, and I never had anybody to play with. If I had siblings, I would definitely be able to, you know, have someone to play video games with, but that was pretty much the only time that I really wished I had a sibling, because my cousins were constantly telling me how they were, you know, battling each other in Diddy Kong Racing or Mario Kart or 007, and I always had to play like the campaign or the story mode, and I always hated that because I always love the multiplayer aspect of games. So that definitely is the part that I didn't like about being an only child. Edgar Brian Martinez asked, on Sword and Shell, who edits and uploads the videos? Good question. Andre and I do everything 50-50. So when it comes to editing, uploading, anything that involves the process of putting up a video, we definitely split 50-50 because we wouldn't be able to keep up with a second channel for both of us unless we worked together. So yeah, we definitely do everything 50-50. Oh my gosh, this question is so good, and this is gonna be my last question from Ramen Manocha. If you could bring back a Game of Thrones character to life, but at the cost of another one of your favorite characters that are still alive, who would you bring back, and which one of your current favorites would you let die and why? Oh my gosh, I think that is like the best question ever. And now it's really got me thinking, like, who would I bring back? Who would make the biggest impact? I mean, I don't want to say Robb Stark because he kind of was such a dummy and got killed for such a dumb reason. So I probably wouldn't pick Robb Stark. I mean, Ned Stark is kind of the first thought I had pop into my mind because he was such a good guy. But at the same time, the fact that he was so good was the reason he got killed. But if I could bring Ned Stark back now, and you know, if it was just out of the blue, season 6 Ned Stark comes back, or just randomly book 6 Ned Stark comes back, then I think he'd do a really awesome job helping in this sort of situation, especially after what has happened to his family members. So I think I would bring Ned back. And who would I sacrifice? That is like the toughest question ever. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Even my favorite evil characters are characters that I adore. Like, I would never sacrifice Cersei or Marjorie or Jaime Lannister or Tyrion. I couldn't sacrifice Daenerys or Arya or Sansa. You know who I would sacrifice, and this is really sad. I would sacrifice Rickon, because where is he? Who knows? What does he do? Nothing. There you go. I sacrifice Rickon. And if it brought back Ned Stark, I think a lot of people would be happy with that. But I love that question. Good question. But I want to know from you guys, the Game of Thrones fans out there, if you could bring back a character, but you had to sacrifice one of your favorite characters, who would it be? Who would you sacrifice? Who would you bring back? That is such a crazy question, and I love it so much. Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.